Hello everybody, welcome to another Hands-On with me, Christian Schiller. Every week at around 1600 or 1700, that's 4 p.m, 5 p.m, Central European time, currently Central European summertime. And hence I'm getting a lot of shine here because there's a lot of sun, which is great. But yes, anyway, I try a piece of technology that interests me, often developer focused or tech writer focused or something like that. And today I am looking at Archbee. What is Archbee? Archbee is, well, it's a collaborative documentation platform, although I get the impression that it might be useful for other things, and that's something that we will figure out as we go through this video. It's quite new. I think it's from Europe somewhere, possibly Eastern Europe somewhere from the names. It looks quite fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to trying this and seeing what I can do. Hopefully my trial is still active because it's been a while. I've been promising I'm going to do it to the team for some time. If you like what you see, you can find more at christianschiller.com, and wherever you are watching right now, you can subscribe. You can also give me a thumbs up or say hello. All right, so here is Archbee. Archbee.io is the website. You do have to sign up. It is not open source or anything like that. The pricing is, it's kind of what you'd expect with a platform like this. So you have to bear this in mind for what you see here. It's not the cheapest. This is $30 a month for 5 team accounts. So it's what's that, $6 per person? It's not too bad. Unlimited readers, custom domain, full branding. Let's have a look what else we get. History, we don't get history. Something of a negative maybe. Storage, and then a lot of other things here. Customization. So yeah, to get something very fully fledged costs a bit, but actually this GitHub integration is going to be something that possibly stings me. Hopefully we can get a decent trial to experiment with these here. Let me see. I did get them to sign me up for a trial properly. Let's hopefully, oh, wow, check this out. My timing is perfect. Your free trial ends in 20 hours. So it's perfect there. And we can see a lot of other features here. I'm actually going to open up their documentation, I think, so we can go through some of the features. So publishing things online, you can see all sorts of types of documentation here. This is showing an example of API documentation, but obviously there's other sorts of documentation too. And I'm guessing this implies some sort of interactivity in the tools. It's a markdown but block-based editor, which gives us a bit of flexibility, kind of somewhere between like a text editor and I guess Notion, something like that. Custom blocks with all sorts of things, including I can see mermaid, which is interesting here. Inline comments for review. This is something that's often a problem in technical markdown kind of style tools. I'm losing the collaboration, that's the word I'm looking for. Links and mentions, markdown editing. Yeah. And then a whole bunch of other things here as well. I kind of want to, and a lot of customers here. I thought the project was quite new, but maybe I'm wrong. And lots of other things here. What I actually really want to do is get to their documentation, but I don't see any documentation, which is maybe intentional. There's also a macOS app. I might download that in the background, but I get the feeling it's just going to be a web application anyway. So welcome aboard. Let's get you to a good start by importing your existing content. Okay. Thing is, a lot of the current documentation projects use a lot of very custom markdown, which probably won't cope with, although obviously it's an excuse to see. I'm wondering what to use. Maybe we'll just go for some of my writing instead. These will do. Can I select more than one? Yes, I can. Some of these are not really finished as well, which gives us an excuse to trial drafts and things like that. All right, good. Probably have an API file somewhere. Let's find that. It's nothing to do with the project I'm currently looking at, of course. I don't have a Notion export file at the moment. Is that, oh, okay, you can only do one at a time. Oh, and I just cleared everything that I just added. That's a slight pain. Okay, let's Go back to that. Let's add the markdown first, and then we'll add that in a minute then. So what are we calling this? I don't know. Let's call it open source docs for now. It's not really, but it's fine. We looked at various different blocks here. This is a table, and you can click on the columns or rows to, I could earlier. I don't know why it's not coming up now. That's weird. Maybe I need to be inside. There we go. To add rows underneath, or equally from here. Oops, column. Suddenly very fiddly. Weird. Come on. Yeah, you saw that anyway. The columns to the left and the right as well. I found this expandable heading, which I'm not quite sure what it does, but anyway, we have like call outs, pop outs, things like that. You have kind of logical divides. You can change the split here. This is basically a sort of CSS grid type thing. And generic tabs that you can add all sorts of things into. I then discovered this very nice code editor that comes with its own tabs and like a nice copy button, and you can actually change the syntax here as well. And then I got stuck down a rabbit hole of wondering if I could embed code inside the document, and then not realizing that's probably not so much of a use case for a tool like Archbee, but because mostly that's for testing things. But yeah, let's have a look what else there is. I think, what else we got here? Images, that's fine. Videos, that's fine. Maps, code editor is what I just looked at. Mermaid diagrams, API endpoints, Swagger UI. Now this is where things get very interesting. I might actually create a new document for this because it's getting messy already, and this was just a very generic markdown file I put in here. So let's create a new document. Let's, what should we call it? I don't know. Getting started, why not? It's a classic document to have. I also noticed that if you, much like with a lot of other editors, if we hover here, we get kind of context relative pop up here. So we could add a comment maybe. Not the best. So I'll add a comment. Oh, that's weird. It only added it to that one part, which is interesting. Let's make it an H2, for example. Okay, so let's add an API endpoint. I am assuming it will be from what we have here, maybe, or maybe not. Okay. That just sort of came out of nowhere. I'm not entirely sure. I think I was expecting to be able to pick from what I have, but maybe that's a link instead. I also can't seem to. This is kind of cool, but I don't entirely know what it's showing me. Well, I know what it's showing me, but I mean in terms of an Archbee perspective. Let's get rid of that again. What I really want to do is, I guess it's embed. I want to add what I already have over here. It's kind of odd. Like this is sort of, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this now. I mean, I guess I can just change these here, but I already have my own API endpoints, but let's do it. Oops, api.books.com. It hasn't updated yet. And we'll change that. I guess we click this maybe. Maybe we also need to change. Okay, it's sort of a bit weirdly disjointed though. I think what I'm supposed to do is just change that there, change that there, and then refresh, I think, is what it's expecting me to do. Yes. And then I could change the something else. I get the feeling this was also dynamic. Well, let's add title. Can I say not required? Yes, optional. And then we do that. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what I'm doing here. Get a cake bite ID. I mean, that's not even strictly true, is it? Can we get rid of this parameter as well? Click to edit. No, I kind of just want to get rid of it. Optional, required. Make that required. So how do we now get it to show up? Not very clear to me how to really change this. It looks very cool, but I'm not. Oh, and this hasn't updated them. It's, right. Now we see. That's not ideal. So it's not updated them. It's kind of added a lot of others. Okay, fine. That's okay. What I really want to do though is link to one of the ones I have here already. Whatever. Let's say this one. Let's see if that's possible. Yeah. So this one, for example. No, so that doesn't pick up that it's, that's not quite what I want. I want to embed what I already have, not have another random kind of endpoint here. Let me see. The embeds didn't really do what we wanted. No. Well, that's a shame. We've got reusable content. Let's come down to that in a second. Let's try the mermaid whilst we're here. Basic media developer, mermaid. Yeah, so this is a mermaid. I've had a whole other video on mermaid diagrams, which was actually surprisingly popular. But yeah, it's kind of markdown-esque way of creating a graphic, basically. Swagger UI. Similarly, again, it gives us this very cool sort of interface, but this is not... Okay, so I could just load... So it's just an embed, basically. And I would assume, if we go back to our preview version, yeah, I'm guessing it's an iframe of some description. No, it isn't an iframe, actually. It's doing something kind of interesting there. It's not a technique I am completely familiar with, but it's cool. Lots and lots of divs. But anyway, quite cool. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it's doing, but it's a good idea, whatever it is. So the embedding of things is not quite what I was hoping for. And this thing is kind of cool, but takes a bit of fiddling around. Yeah, look, every time we generate and replace, but it's not. It's creating new ones each time, which is problematic. I guess that's a bug if you're watching Archbee team. Let's see, what else have we missed here that might be quite cool? It's kind of, yeah, that stuff is useful, but I'm not going to really play with it right now. Changelog. Okay, again, it would be good to be able to link to these somehow. When we get to that reusable content section, maybe it is. We'll come to that in a second. And then embeds from other places. So we can add GIST, CodePen, Trello, Google Docs, all sorts of things there. What can we embed? So it's a URL. URL for what exactly? Trello URL for a board? For a card? I don't know. Again, the guide is telling you a great deal on, not very clear on some of the properties sometimes. We could do with a little bit more inline help every now and then, I think. The user guide is a little disconnect. All right, let's see what else we can play around with here. I'm guessing if I go into this, yeah, that's pretty. And we get the, okay, that's nice. I don't know if I want to update this manually. I don't think that's really possible, is the only problem. So if I want to update things here, I'm not sure what I do. Re-import it or something? I don't know, say I want to change this, for example. Can I? It doesn't look like I can. So it looks like you just have to import it, and then it's kind of stuck, which is a bit of a pain. I don't see... Oh, sync. Sync? Sync from where? Okay. All right. So, yeah. Or sync through an API. Okay, interesting. So it is possible to keep it up to date through an external file. So this is where it was also interesting. I wanted to see the GitHub integration of maybe I could sync documentation from somewhere else. But unfortunately, I think that's only on an enterprise plan, which I don't have. Install, go to integrations. Okay. Page not found. All right. I want to look at this knowledge graph and the reusable content, and I'll try and find this integration again. So, okay, that's the knowledge graph of, okay, it's the only thing we've linked, I suppose. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I'm not sure how useful that is, but anyway. Reusable content, also just variables, content snippets. Okay, I have to upgrade, so I can't test that. Yeah, okay, so this is something you would expect to see in a static site generator type thing as well. Fair enough. Templates. We can create templates, I guess, hence the name. And I then assume that I could do something like, I don't know, how do I create it from the template? Not really sure. We've made a template, convert, clone, move, convert, clone, create new child. No, I actually just want to create something from it. Again, I'm not sure if I trust this, but okay. Whenever you add a new document, okay, but then what do I do? Whenever you add a new document like this, I'm not completely sure what I'm missing here. I don't see, not sure what I'm missing there. Okay, I'd really like to try the integrations though. I don't know how I get to it. Not seeing anything. There's kind of a lack of connectivity here in some respects. The integrations kind of look like the coolest thing, but I'm not quite sure how I get them. Maybe we should look through this. Oh no, this is, yeah, diagrams, yeah, we saw all that. Preview endpoint docs. Code blocks, yes, we saw all that. Change logs, yeah, I think we saw all this. What could you use it for? Yeah, that's great. I don't know how to get these integrations. I'd like to look very quickly at the desktop application, but I get the impression it's going to be just a web application, so not that different. This is a weird installer as well. I don't really like installers like that. Okay. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, I think this is, I'm almost certain this is just a web view. Yes, it is. So yeah, I don't think I really need to test this. It's basically going to be exactly the same. I'd kind of like to uninstall that now. Yeah, I don't really know what else to look at. I'm a bit torn because I like some of the principles, but it's a bit disconnected. Oh, here's the integrations. Aha, there we go. This is what I've been looking for the whole time. Let's try it. Let's go for something, think of something that I know is not too complicated. I could go for my website, but there's quite a lot in there. Well, let's throw it at it. Let's see what happens. Something happened, and I'm not sure what I do next. Okay, now what do I do? Maybe I now can do import. Is that it? No. Markdown files, maybe? Nope. Not quite sure what I did that for. Like, what do I get? Account settings? Let's have another look. Integrations. Let's remove it because I'll read that small bit of text again. Connect your GitHub repo docs to generate Archbee spaces from repositories. Okay, great. Let's have another try. Configure. I already did that, but this is always the problem with. Let's remove it. And try that again. Integrations, connect GitHub. So how did we do this again? It was create a new space, write in GitHub, add space. I think he's expecting some kind of structure. That's the problem. I don't know what it's expecting. Yeah, I don't know what it's expecting because it's not finding anything. In this integration, that document, I don't know what this document is. That doesn't really seem to be telling me anything. And that's the same page. Adding a new collection. Ah, okay, it wants this config file basically. Okay, so yeah, it wants that. I mean, this to me, if you have to manually do that every time you add a new document, that's not ideal. I mean, it's not too much effort, but it's not ideal. So yeah, I get it, because in a very large website where you have lots and lots of content, do you really want to add everything? But I kind of feel like a better way would maybe be like from here, now add a file, pick it from the repository, that kind of thing, and handle all this manually for you, automatically for you. That would be kind of cooler, but yeah, I sort of get it, but it's, yeah, not as good as it could be maybe. All right, I'm running low on time here. I think let's jump back to the webpage here and sort of review what we got to. The slogan is everything you need to create amazing documentation. Yes, there's a lot of really cool features, but I find some of the disconnect to be a little tricky in some respects. There's a lot of aspects where it's not entirely clear what you're supposed to do. There's no real documentation, but then the in context help doesn't always tell you what you want to know. Like that expandable heading was one example. What is it actually doing with some of the quite cool looking code widgets? How do I change things? What do I change? That kind of stuff was a little lacking in places. A lot of potential, but with a lot of those caveats there for the price. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's something I might revisit in a few months and see how much it's developed. Because there's some really nice ideas, but it would be a little bit of a frustrating experience, I think, at the moment to do a lot of things. I would end up finding myself getting quite lost with what I'm trying to do sometimes, I think that's probably my main summary there. Really interesting start, some really cool features, but needs a little bit more connected thinking, maybe. If you want to see more of me stumbling through things, then on the live videos, you can always find what I'm up to at christianchiller.com, wherever you're watching this. I don't think I've decided what I'm going to do next week yet. And you can always leave a comment, subscribe, spread the word, of course, as always. I hope you found that interesting. Archbee, interesting. Needs a little bit more joined up thinking before I think you should consider paying for it, but definitely worth experimenting with and keeping an eye on. And that, I think, is my general summary. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you all next time.